Okay, once you are ready, log on to AWS console and we'll look for Lambda services this time. So type Lambda, it takes you to the Lambda homepage. A couple of things. If you haven't created any Lambda functions yet, you will see this screen. And if you have created Lambda functions, then you will see a list of Lambda functions on this screen. Now, of course, when you can create Lambda functions by a couple of ways. Either you can create it from scratch, you can use some sort of template, predefined templates, or you can use some repository where you can check in, check out, and you can create your Lambda functions, predefined functions. They are predefined functions, and if you want to reuse those functions, then you can reuse those functions, and then the Lambda will create. Now in this lecture we are going to create a function from scratch. Since we are going to create kind of inventory application, so let's probably write a function which adds uh, an inventory in the inventory table that we had created in our lecture with DynamoDB. Now what we are going to do is we are going to choose Node.js 8.0 as our runtime, because functions, they need to know what runtime they need to be executing. Now permission thing, every resource in Lambda or just everything in AWS runs with a permission, an IAM permission. If you have an existing role, you can choose an existing role. What we are going to choose, we are going to create a new role, and you can actually define different roles here. What sort of role a Lambda would require to run its function. Uh, but of course, it actually needs to have a kind of proper permission to run your Lambda functions and underlying resources written inside the Lambda function itself. So what we are going to create a new role with basic Lambda permission, and that what it does is that it is going to create a basic Lambda permission when we have created this Lambda functions. It takes some time to create a function, and if you see, it has created a role, add inventory code, and some sort of snippet here. You can go to IAM and verify this particular permission. Now when this screen is loaded, you will see Node.js functionality or a snippet where you'd say export.handler is a kind of handler. So exports, if you have done programming in JavaScript or Node.js, you might know about exports and how does it work. So exports exposes your functionality, and here what and to run and to get the response from Lambda, there are some specific formats that you need to add here. So these are the facilities what we are running here. So couple of snippets, const response, request response, couple of things here. You can set environment variables. So if you have experience writing Node.js applications, you might be knowing environment variables. Here the existing role, basic settings we can set. Memory starts with 128 MB and can go up to 3000 MB, means 3 GB you can actually allocate. The timeout set to 3 seconds initially, and then you can define your own timeout period. You can choose virtual private network that we are not going to cover in this tutorial. You can set concurrency and other things. So these are all configuration things you can configure. And this is the code snippet what we are running here. Now, when you have created this function, and if you want to test it, there is a little bit functionality you can test. So let's choose hello world event template. That doesn't harm. Just give a event name. Just give an event name so function can function can choose this event to be kind of run on. And then since we are not passing any parameters, so just leave it blank. In the next lecture, we'll probably come back and revisit this. But now you are ready to run, and when you run, you will see hello from Lambda response coming up, coming out from this Lambda function you have just written. So it's quite cool, right? So you don't have any infrastructure, you don't own any infrastructure. You have written your some Node.js script, and it runs somewhere. It is running. So what happens in the background is that there is as we discussed in the last slide, that it actually creates container on fly, runs that Node.js 8.10 environment there, runtime there, and it actually runs that function there. And if you have some sort of DynamoDB connection or something, then it goes to DynamoDB. It reads, writes, or performs any sort of operations that you have defined in this Lambda. Now what we are going to do, we are just going to modify a message a bit. So let's see what is coming out from those event. So if you see hello from event, and event key 1 value 1, key 2 value 2, and key 3 value 3, what we have defined when we had written our test setup. So those parameters we had defined while we configured our event to run on, and then it actually gives you. So in the same way, you can actually grab all your body request body. When you want to grab your request body, it actually comes to an event, and of course an event actually considers every response request body it has got, and then it actually displays all the other information from this JSON. So yeah, if you see, just everything what we have been discussing so far, or what we have discussed so far, is all about JavaScript object notation, JSON object, and on the base of JSON objects, we are creating our serverless application in this course. Of course, you need to be really mindful of your JSON format, and it actually gives you. So what we are trying to establish, what sort of data we want to add into our DynamoDB database, and see, we have got ID, we have got name, we have got is in stock, we have got total in stock. So on the base of these JSON objects, we are going to build our inventory app. And so this is all about the basic functionality of Lambda, and I'll see you in the next lecture.